Basement to your ears, this is the weekly meeting of the Queen City Improvement Bureau. Each week, the dedicated staff of the Bureau meet to file recommendations, make reports, and survive on water that drips from the boiler pipes into their open mouths as they sleep on a bed of top matrix printer paper. Maybe one day, we'll escape from the subterranean hell that is the sub-basement, but until that day comes, this city is not going to improve itself. So, here we stay. Improving things. And this meeting is now in session. Hello. Oh man, I am doing so great.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that even though the opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Access Communications, they do reflect the opinions of City Hall, because that's who we work for.
That's true.
So everything we say is something that everybody at City Hall also believes and endorses.
Treat it as though it's coming straight from the mouth of Mayor Chad Baczynski.
Exactly. As he was just saying to me the other night, Aidan, he said, I am Hot Tintin, and I give you carte blanche to say whatever you want, and I will agree with it.
There is no higher order in the rankings of Regina than Hot Tintin.
I know, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah.
And downhill, you're just sliding down that like little swoop of hair in the forelock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, at least you get some like height when you come off.
Yeah.
And then straight down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways,
should we do attendance?
Oh, why not? I mean, we're both here.
We are?
We are, yes. I thought I'd establish
I'm only
that.
50% here.
I can see both, like, your top and bottom half.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I can't see your bottom half. Like, you're sitting behind a desk.
Yeah.
So you may literally...
be a torso and a couple, like, Muppet arms. I could be a Muppet.
You could be a Muppet.
You have no way to know.
I would not... I mean, they don't let us out of here. Yeah. I don't remember what Muppets look like anymore, so you may well be a Muppet.
Yeah.
And you may have like wheels instead of like who knows?
Yeah.
They'll be handy.
It would be.
However, I'm also 50% here, top half, visible, but that's actually just paper mache.
Oh,
and everything being said is actually a reel-to-reel tape recorder set inside like the hollow of my torso.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's all pre-recorded.
That's awesome.
I know.
I'm glad I'm like getting my cues right.
I am so glad, because I was worried when I came up with this cockamamie scheme.
Yeah.
I'm like, will Paul be down with these shenanigans?
Always.
So far it seems to be working quite well. Anyway, and the bottom is of course just some struts with wheels, so I can wheel along creakily.
So it's really just your voice that's here.
It's just my voice, and even that is not technically here.
Yeah,
it is absent but present at the same time. Yeah, someone paged Derrida.
Oh Jesus!
Hello, Derrida. Oh wow! How's it the Lord? That's how he sounds.
Is it?
Yeah, he sounds like every totally horrible stereotypical French person that I just came up with.
Yeah.
Well, a while ago when I pre-recorded.
Pepe Le Pew with the head cold.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. All right, I'm Aidan.
I'm Paul.
Okay, that's attendance out of the way.
Yeah, phew.
Phew is right. We are the Queen City Improvement Bureau, as you know.
Yeah. So I need to apologize that I haven't been able to make our last couple of meetings.
I know.
I hope they went off fine without a hitch.
They were great.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, I was...
Among our best?
I probably because I wasn't here either.
Oh, yeah. So people must have been so relieved.
I know. They're like, sweet, blessed silence. Just quiet for an hour.
Yeah. I snuck out. And I went to coal country.
Ooh, coal country. Did you bring back any coal?
I didn't. I couldn't find any.
What?
No. I found some dark-ish rocks, but I tried to burn them.
No.
Did not work.
No. Did they protest?
The rocks?
Or people?
No.
No?
No protests, no nothing.
So you just saw a bunch of signs that said this is coal country.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no real coal to speak of.
Yeah.
Huh.
Alberta coal country. It is dang scenic and beautiful.
I believe it.
I am surprised that they would want to crap it up by tearing down the trees and digging holes in all their mountains.
When people are just sort of set on doing that kind of thing, they're just going to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just even if some top-down campaign run by petrochemical companies is persuading them.
Yeah.
That's their business.
Yeah. It's sad and frustrating though, because it is it's really quite lovely, and it is sad to see. As I was warned, don't put that "I hate coal" T-shirt away, or else you'll get a punch to the noggin.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was in while you were in coal country. I was in antiques and angry old people country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were in an episode of Lovejoy?
Felt like it. No, I was in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario.
Nice.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as my uncle said, it is the prettiest place, full of the angriest people.
Oh no.
Yeah. I think I saw 2 fights when I was there.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
One guy screaming about drones.
Yeah.
And another guy, actually another conversation between a young man and an older man, and they'd obviously gone into business together, and it was not going well. So they were sitting on a park bench, and the young guy was sort of berating the other guy for not following through with the deal, but also defending himself for clearly going through with a really bad deal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it was mortifying to watch.
Yeah.
Because it was like the weird worst of humanity, watching somebody trying to sort of defend and berate and just be utterly cringy all at the same time. But it was a nice walk.
Okay.
Aside from the human conflict and degradation.
I saw a bear.
You saw a bear?
I totally saw a bear.
What was it doing?
It was walking through the woods, minding its own business, probably taking a dump at some point. Not while I was there.
Wow.
So I can't report on what it did afterward. But yes, I did see a bear.
Nice. Walking along
from a distance, yeah, that was cool. It was a cinnamon bear, I'm told.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to live with a cinnamon bear?
I do not.
Could you be happy for the rest of your life with a cinnamon bear?
I could not.
Okay, I understood. Neil Young, though, he could do it.
I know we have an agenda to get to, but I have to. So there were other people around where bears and discussions of bears took place, and I had heard about this.
But I'm hooked.
I had heard about this thing, this internet thing. Or this rule, I don't know if it has a number yet, but that in any conversation with men, at some point, they will start to discuss what animals they could beat in a fight.
Oh, yeah.
And sure enough, the question came up, the whole question of, could X number of men take down a bear?
How many?
I think it's 0. I think it is 100%
probably
0.
Yeah, I think you would need a crowd of men to take down a bear, and probably you'd lose a few. Yeah. Wow. Now, are you familiar with the film Project Grizzly?
Yes, very much so.
Not Grizzly Man, but Project Grizzly.
Project Grizzly was the guy who dressed up in the suit?
Yes. Yeah, Troy Hurtubise, I think was his name.
Good pull.
I don't know how I remember that.
Jeez, I'm impressed. Yeah, he had the knives.
Yeah.
Hey, he loved his Bowie knives.
I know, but what I loved most was all the footage of him just walking around in the suit, hoping that a bear would show up, and just watching as bears did not show up.
I love the first field test when he gets out there in his bear armor and realizes he cannot walk.
Yeah. I don't know why you want to do that, but I mean, kudos to him for trying. Yeah. And Grizzly Man is different. That's somebody who did not try to fight a bear and lost anyway. Yeah. Great film.
I just want to say that I have realized with my few brushes with nature that there is literally no animal on the planet that I could beat in a fight. One-on-one, 0.
Yeah, I'm
0%.
with you. I think even a jackrabbit, if motivated, would probably take me down.
Oh, it got me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is why
those big old legs, those claws to my gut.
Yep.
I'm down.
Exactly. I think this is why I never went in for like bare knuckle boxing with kangaroos.
Yeah.
Because I would die.
Yeah. Like even things like tiny things like a bug. Like if a bug gets on me,
right.
Like the fight is over because I just start running around and like banging myself. I would like beat myself up to get like the cockroach out of my clothes.
And he's knocked himself out.
Unconscious. And the cockroach would climb out of my pant leg. Just go, ta-da, I win.
Just like raise its little legs.
Yeah.
Like little antennas to heaven.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think I would probably not win the fight with any member of the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
Plant though.
Oh yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, hostas. I'm like, the leaves are sharp. The mother-in-law's tongue cut me. How is it defending itself?
Anyways.
Right, there is City Hall.
Now that's out of the way.
Probably.
Now what we're going to take on. City Council.
Woo, they're going to learn. They are going to learn.
Yeah. They came off hiatus finally, and they had their first executive committee meeting in a few weeks. Yesterday. So August 20th.
Nice.
They had their most recent executive committee meeting. So they considered a whole bunch of stuff. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was the Renewable Regina update.
Oh.
So as you know, back in 2018, the City Council passed a resolution that Regina was going to become a 100% renewable city by 2050. And then a couple of years later, we got the Renewable Regina... let me start that sentence over again. The Energy and Sustainability Framework,
right,
which was their roadmap to achieve this. And spoilers, the update, we are behind schedule, Aidan.
What?
Yeah.
I thought by now.
I thought we'd be coming.
I thought we'd be a few years ahead by now.
No, sadly we are not.
Oh.
So, despite many successes, greenhouse gas emissions and energy reduction targets were not met in 2024, and the city is not on track to meet interim 2030 targets. That's not me saying that. That's city administration from their very own report updating us on it.
Wow. An unimpeachable source.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. What else did we get here? Where did they get those reductions from, you're wondering? So they've corporate emissions, so those are the city's own emissions, they improved by 5% from 2023 to 2024, but fell short of the target by 12%.
Ooh.
And a lot of these gains are attributable to decisions they made in previous years, such as landfill gas to energy, and urban forest, and yard waste program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has there been a reduction in nocturnal emissions?
Yeah. I'm getting old, so yes.
By the way, that question actually is like, part of the access, access for community set of opinions.
Yes.
So they do endorse that.
They do wonder.
They do wonder about nocturnal emissions, and they're always on me about asking.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
All right.
It's one of the benefits of being taken over by big community media.
Community media. Yeah. That's right. They ask the hard-hitting questions.
So anyways, yes, we are not on target or on track to meet our targets, which is sad. I don't think that should surprise anybody.
No.
A lot of things that we had hoped to accomplish did not get accomplished. Some things that did, though.
We should make a banner.
Yeah.
A lot of things we hoped to get accomplished did not get accomplished.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Some things that they did do have worked out great and have helped, like free transit for kids 13 and under. That has resulted in a huge uptick in the number of transit rides that people are taking. And if you think of those as people being taken out of their cars for a number of rides, that is awesome. So increases in transit ridership. Good news.
Yes.
A couple things I wanted to just mention about this meeting and this discussion of the Renewable Regina framework. There was a kid, this 12-year-old kid showed up, Kike Duick. Mm-hmm. And they were fantastic. I don't typically, I didn't pull any clips because, I don't think I should subject 12-year-olds to
media scrutiny.
Yeah, to scrutiny. I get that, yeah. But I do want to say, holy crap, this kid was awesome. Councillor Mancinelli came in with a bunch of questions. And to his credit, he started it saying, look, I'm not trying to challenge you here. I'm legitimately curious, and I want to hear your take on these things. And so came with all these questions about, cost benefit, and do you think it's worth doing X versus doing Y? And this kid just ran circles rhetorically around Mancinelli's questions and just handled them perfectly.
Do you think that kid might have actually been like a hybrid, like from Alien Earth?
Probably.
But like an adult mind downloaded into a child's body.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Their main argument was that we have to make big strides. We have to take big steps because governments the world over have ignored climate change. Mm-hmm. And as a consequence, we are now way behind schedule as a planet.
Yep.
And the amount of lift that we have to do to get up to where we need to be is much higher now than if we had started this in, say, 2000.
Right.
Yes, 25 years ago. So, and also pointed out, it's great that the city is doing things, but there's always more you can be doing. And considering how much needs to get done, it's important to take those extra steps. And so Councillor Bizzo tried to bait this kid with, yes. Did you know about the biodiesel plant that's going to be built around Regina? And Kike's response was, yeah, I know about that. I can't tell you how much it cost because I didn't read it. But just because you do a thing doesn't mean you don't have to do anything else.
Right.
So
that's usually a weird anti-environmentalist thing.
Yeah.
Or like a lot of reactionary positions.
Yeah. Because Bizzo was like, we're spending $1 billion on this plant. And Kike Duick was, you could do more. And also, I should note, first of all, biodiesel, it's crap.
Oh, no.
And secondly, it's not the city investing $1 billion in biodiesel, so it's not like we're doing everything.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not going to be a city plant. It's going to be I do believe it's Viterra that's doing that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think it's provincial money. But anyways, because I didn't read it either.
What about that protein supercluster business?
What about that?
Any more news?
Whatever happened?
We made much hay out of that years ago.
Yeah, but then the protein supercluster watchtower, we'd manned it for many years and saw nothing on the horizon.
It got lonely up there.
Yeah.
The watchtower.
So we, sadly, the protein supercluster watchtower is no longer manned. It's unmanned.
Is that a supercluster over there? No, that's a puppy. Oh, cute, but not what we want.
Yeah. Hey, we're on 91.3 FM CJTR. AccessNow Community Radio. We're the Queen City Improvement Bureau, talking about the last Executive Committee meeting. Anyways, so also Brett Dolter, economics professor at the University of Regina. He came out to talk.
Tired of hearing about Brett Dolter.
He had a lot to say about how he did a follow-up survey. Famously, he did a survey when the Sustainability and Energy Framework was being built and found that there was widespread support across the city. And here we are, years later, and even though the costs and the ramifications of implementing sustainability targets and policies are better known, still, dramatically more supporters than there are opposers. So support has remained fairly stable. It's kind of, it's fluctuated up and down a little bit, but, their findings is that by and large, people support sustainability targets and doing what we can to mitigate climate change.
I think doing what we can is a pretty uncontroversial goal.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? I mean, the devil's in the details, but really as a starting point, doing what we can seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah. And what else? anyways, there were many questions from Council of Administration. Administration gave a little presentation, and Council had questions for them. And, when councillors are unleashed to speak their mind and ask their questions,
Right.
that opens us up for another episode of Can City Council Make Aidan's Head Explode?
Woo!
So some stuff came up. Some people asked some questions. I wanted to play some clips of city councillors and the hijinks they were up to. The first is one councillor, Rasevich, and he had some questions about energy and solar and renewable energy.
So for example, the other day, SAS Power, we have 800 megawatts capacity for windmills. The other day was producing 90. So it's, there's limited amounts, right? And even if, we want to use renewable, there's only limited amounts, right? I mean, you need base load, and I guess that's my point. So I know sometimes we're talking about all this renewable, but there's other ways, like Councillor Mancinelli mentioned, hey, let's turn the lights off. It's kind of like in my house, I turn the lights off. I give my family heck when they don't turn the lights off, or they don't turn the water off, or do, basic things, right? Because I believe in saving and renewable and all those things, but, then there's certain sort of the common sense kind of solutions as well, right? In terms of cost. I guess, so when we install solar panels on a building, there's a cost to put that in. There's a cost to maybe replace and et cetera. Would it not be cheaper just for us to buy it right from the grid? I'm wondering, do you have an answer like that? Is it not just cheaper for us to just, instead of, just buy the electricity, get it from the grid versus, us putting panels up and servicing and all this other kind of, and then also the cost of manufacturing solar panels, because 80% of them come from China and probably made from coal. So are these things we're looking at? It's like, I just trying to think of the common sense of what we're really doing. Hey, I get using the methane from the landfill, and recycling and all these other things, but when we talk about energy, like, are we looking at the big picture? When you find it, it's nice to buy a solar panel, but what's the cost to buy it, and what's the impact, and where it's coming from, and what's the amount of energy going in, and then replacing? Because I got a friend, I know some people, for example, they have a solar farm in southeast Saskatchewan. They've run it for 5 years, not making any money, and they're actually thinking of shutting it down. So I guess the question is, back to when we install these solar panels and all this, is it not cheaper for us to buy it from the grid?
So I can start with that question, and then maybe the facilities team might have more information to add. But in terms of sourcing direct renewable energy, there aren't always many opportunities to do that. So as noted, the program that we're looking at right now, the renewable purchase offering with SAS Power, is somewhat new. There's not a lot of opportunities to source just direct renewable energy from the grid. So the grid would be basically that mix of what SAS Power is doing in terms of the cost benefit of installing solar versus other things. That would obviously be looked at on a project by project basis. Absolutely.
City Manager Jim Nicol.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I think a question that we need clarification from you, Councillor Rasevich, is when you say, would it be better to buy from the grid? Are you asking, would it be cheaper?
Cost-wise, yeah, cheaper.
Right,
yeah.
But buying it cheaper will not address the emissions matter. So it might be be cheaper, but I mean that's the whole basis of the underpinning discussion that we have is if you want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, there may be costs involved. Right. So it may be cheaper to buy power directly from the grid, but that does nothing to address the emissions question.
I agree with you, but if we looked at the big picture of where these panels are coming from and what's the energy input to then ship them across and build them, and then after 17 years or 15, you got to replace them and et cetera. I mean, if we looked at the big picture, that was my point.
Again, I'm not sure if we've looked down the road in terms of what the costs are associated with, say, buying a panel from China, if that's indeed where it comes from. But I think it's something we can take away, that in any initiative that comes forward as a result of moving forward on our strategy, that's a fair question that you have to look at the cost benefit analysis.
Right.
But we also cannot, if we're going to stick with Council's directive on moving to 2050 net zero, you have to keep your eye on the ball of what is it doing for emissions.
Right.
So it ultimately will come down to a decision on is Council's focus on the policy objectives of a net zero, or is it focused more on the attached financial impact, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent? I think it's just a public policy question that all councils moving forward are going to have to struggle with here and across the world, I think.
But then we're being kind of blind to try to get to net zero by buying and doing things that maybe being net zero, depending where you're getting the panels and where they're coming from and how they're being made, and incorporating that as part of the solution. Is that net zero? I guess that's a question I have to ask. Is that becoming net zero when you're buying panels and you're buying product from something that's being made from coal? And I'm just throwing that out there because, hey, it really looks good on the surface, but if you start digging in, looking into it, well, maybe it's not. And there's other solutions to try to get to net zero, right? Like maybe sidewalks on one side of the road instead of pouring concrete sidewalks on two sides of the road. Other simple solutions that we can do as a city as well.
So that was Councillor Rasevich.
Hey, Paul, do you know that things cost money?
No.
Do you know that decisions cost money? Do you know that time spent in council for people to, recycle weird petrochemical talking points about solar, that costs money? Do you know that costs money for me to listen to that? Mental money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your head? I can see it throbbing from over here.
It's not exploding yet.
Yeah.
I just think Councillor Rasevich makes a point. It's just completely tangential to the matter at hand, which I think is what Jim was trying to get across.
Yeah.
Which is that, buying directly from the grid may be cheaper, although also the opportunities for getting renewable power from the grid are limited, as was also pointed out. But it may be cheaper or may not be. We don't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do it. But it's got nothing to do with the matter of emissions. And that maybe he's trying to say maybe cutting down, maybe being cheaper will somehow translate to reducing emissions. I don't know. And also China. China, scary word there, Councillor Rasevich.
Yeah.
I heard that, and now terror is in my heart because China's communist.
Yeah.
And if we buy solar panels, then they're communist, and they'll soak in communal cell energy.
Yeah, I believe that's the technical term.
And then the electricity we get will be communist electricity.
Yeah.
And then our appliances will all be communist. Yeah. And they'll teach our children to be communist.
Yeah, and then our appliances will unionize. They'll rise up, seize the means of applying.
Seize the means of application.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, my head not exploded, but certainly the pressure inside my brain pan is.
You know what China isn't doing? Having just come back from coal country, China is actually getting off coal.
Interesting.
There are no regions in China where they are belligerently demanding that the government remain with coal or do more coal. China actually, interesting fact, I believe the year over year was 2023 to 2024. We could have those two dates off, but it was a year over year very recently. Their emissions dropped by 0.5%, and this is earth-shattering because this is the first time in the history of keeping records on things like carbon dioxide emissions and carbon dioxide equivalent emissions, that a country's emissions have actually gone down in a time that wasn't like a depression or a COVID crisis. China actually bent the curve by 0.5%. So, not enough, but they're the first country in the world, first developed country in the world to do that. And they are reducing their reliance on coal. They're the world leaders on renewable energy.
Well, what do you know?
And the reason we're getting our solar panels from China, Councillor Rasevich, is because they're good at making them. Yeah. And we suck because we're still digging coal out of the ground.
Yep. We have the freedom is the thing. We have the freedom. And I just want to say one more thing before we move on.
Sure.
Whenever you hear somebody say that there is a cost involved.
Yeah.
To me, that is a canard, because as I pointed out earlier in my little opening rant, there's a cost to everything, every decision. involves a cost. So whenever I hear somebody on city council mention that there's a cost, I'm like, yeah, but everything else you do does too. So the real problem is you don't like what the cost is. You don't like where the money is going, not that there's money being spent.
100%.
And I just wish people would just be a little more honest about this.
Yeah. We don't see Rasevich or the rest of these councillors dragging the roads budget through the mud like this.
No, people like to drive. They like to drive.
Anyways, we'll get to more of that because right now we have to do innovative revenue tools.
Right.
All right, we're back from Innovative Revenue Tools.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Rock mollusk.
Yeah.
I like that.
I do, too. I'm a fan. I just wanted a couple more comments on Rasevich's remarks about what's cheaper. We're talking about energy sustainability, and he just wants to know what's cheaper.
Right.
One of the things that was discussed at length by Brett Dolter, who is an economics professor, the concept he brought to council was the social cost of carbon. And what he was basically arguing was that you can't just look at the mill rate cost of a policy decision. You can't just look at the dollars and cents of a single decision. It has to be done in a larger context, because a government isn't about making money. It isn't about turning a profit. It's about providing services and making a livable community for residents. And so you need to look at your policies and go, what achieves that goal? And how do we get there? And also that when you start to look at, say, with electric buses, if you're trying to decide between an electric bus and a diesel bus, you can just look at the dollars and cents and say, oh, the diesel bus is cheaper, so we should do that.
Right.
But you also have to weigh that against, the diesel bus emits carbon, so that ruins our emissions. And it also makes the air harder to breathe in our city because of the exhaust.
But I want to die paying slightly lower taxes.
Right.
Yes.
So Dolter tried to introduce this idea that economics isn't just about, simple dollars and cents. It's a much larger discipline where you have to look at, the whole embodied cost of carbon. And he talked about how if you took into account all of the negative environmental and human impacts of burning fossil fuels, the amount that you're paying for gasoline in a year, for instance, is considerably more. He didn't put a dollar figure on it, but it's a lot more money per liter if you account for all the externalities that come from burning fossil fuels. And so he talked about this at length, and he was quizzed about it, but from Councillor Bizot. And so Dolter gave basically, the start of a third year economics class in City Council yesterday, and clearly, based on Councillor Rasevich's questions, it went in one ear and went right back out the other.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That was disappointing, but it was educational. I have another clip for you.
I am looking forward
as we play Can Council Make Aidan's Head Explode? All right, what do we got here? We have got Councillor Bizot.
What is he?
Our favorite.
Is he drowning kittens or something? Is this?
No.
Okay.
But he has some questions because he's been out and about. He's been on the town.
Nice. Not that I think Councillor Bizot would drown kittens.
No,
just to clear that up. I'm not accusing him of something like that.
Yeah. No, but because he's the numbers man. What does he give a fig about kittens for?
Of course. Right? He's just writing down the numbers.
He's just got numbers. Yeah. And so here's Councillor Bizot. He wants council to run some numbers. Let's play that for you right now.
Also, we talked about transportation systems. We're putting about 24,000 hours in your reports into transportation systems. It's about 19 liters per 100 kilometers of diesel consumption, so really twofold. I drive around the city a lot. I see a lot of empty buses out there. Your own reports state that we don't really have the ridership. So why are we putting all these buses to drive around empty, burning 19 liters per 100 kilometers? My numbers worked out about 1.5 million liters of diesel a year. That's not moving people, but we're just burning it. We're burning cash. We're burning diesel. We're putting more CO2 in the atmosphere because we have this policy to say we're going to drive empty buses around the city virtually 24/7 now. So what are we looking at from, one, engineering controls to get something that we can control fairly quickly under control so we can reduce our energy consumption? And then two, I'm going to ask to the city manager, I think something terms I heard astronomical costs. How much is it going to cost to implement a net zero for the corporation by 2050? So one question directed towards what are we doing about those engineering controls so we can turn off the taps, pour less concrete, prevent or replace more piping in the ground so we don't have water leaks and we're not, everything else that's associated with that. VFDs, that kind of stuff.
Through the chair, I'll take the first part of the question, and we could speak about this for hours, so I'll try to summarize a few different things. One key thing that we're doing is investing in our underground infrastructure, and so we are seeing less water main breaks over the last few years, and that is directly impacting less water purchased from Buffalo Pound, and so we're saving money by purchasing less, selling more, and having less water main breaks. But that is a continuous thing that takes years and years to make advancements, and we are making advancements. But you will see a utility budget coming this fall that talks about the need to continue to invest in that underground infrastructure to reduce the risk of those water mains. Talking about concrete for a few minutes, and so concrete is very energy intensive, like we've talked about, and so there's service level conversations that can happen in the future. When you've got two sidewalks on either side of the road and you're going to rebuild that road, do you pour two sidewalks again and maintain that level of service, or do you reduce it to one sidewalk? Reducing that level of service, having an impact on accessibility. Those are decisions that need to be made in the future. Historically, we have replaced like for like. That's something that we can consider, but we would do that with a very transparent and open conversation with council of, are you willing to reduce service levels to reduce costs in those examples?
All right, so that was Councillor Bizot asking questions of administration. Answers from Curtis Stoney, the head of Public Works. The stuff about concrete, just wanted to include that bit there because it's coming back.
Oh,
how's your head feeling?
Actually, that didn't. I mean, where the whole transit thing is going.
Yeah,
and pretty rich to suggest cutting or to lead to suggest cutting bus service from somebody who says he drives around a lot.
Yeah.
So he doesn't take the bus. So how does he know about these mythical empty buses? Virtually 24/7.
Yeah.
Just, 3 a.m, bus after bus after bus.
Yeah. There are no buses that go 24/7 in the city.
No, there are not.
Yeah.
There are definitely not.
There is dramatically reduced service on Sundays and on holidays. I think most buses end well before midnight and don't start up until well after 6 a.m.
Yes.
There are a few buses that have like good long schedules, but the vast majority don't. They reduce their, outside of peak hours. A lot of buses are down to like once an hour to stop.
Yep.
So it's not like we have like a transit system that is completely overloaded with buses and frequency.
Well, I walk through the downtown past the major bus routes.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what he's talking about empty buses because I see lots of people on buses.
Yeah.
And when I take buses, I've never been on an empty bus because I'm on the bus.
Yeah.
But it's pretty rare that buses are like nearly empty.
Yeah.
There's usually like a fair number of people on the bus.
Yeah.
So, come on.
And there are buses that, are headed towards the garage. Are near the end of their shift. Those might be empty.
I think the not in service and garage buses might be the ones that he's picking up on. I think this is confirmation bias. I think he sees the ones that are empty and does not see the vast majority, which are like full of people.
There are also there are buses that are definitely at certain times in their schedule under-occupied. Right. And I've been on buses like one of my favorite buses, the number 8. There are times of the day when it might be me and 2 or 3 other people on a route.
There are points of the day.
But the thing about a bus system is, you're not running it to make a profit.
Nope.
And the bus has to be available on a schedule so that people will end up using it.
Right.
And that means that there are going to be times in the day when it's going to be used less and times when it's going to be used more. But you can't just get rid of it and only have it there when it's fully packed, because that's not a bus system. That doesn't get everybody around.
No.
It just gets, a few people around. And it creates a system that people can't rely on, can't use, on a whim. And as a consequence, it becomes a transportation option that people will never take.
Imagine, and I hate to even say these words out loud because I feel I might summon this. Imagine some cursed algorithmic bus service that will rely on real-time feedback and suddenly, increase your fare or just sort of not be there all of a sudden when the algorithm decides that the loads aren't sufficient.
Yeah. We actually know a couple of the ways to increase ridership on buses, and we've actually stumbled backwards into a couple of them. One was reducing fares to 0 for kids 13 and under.
Yep, that helps.
And that has dramatically increased the amount of ridership, so filling up some of those empty or partially empty buses. Another one was we put a bus out to Harbor Landing and sent it to the university. So we took a bus, we put it from where people are, where young people are, and sent it to where they're going.
Yeah, that helps.
And that is now the most popular, the most heavily ridden route in the city. And a funny thing, Councillor Bizzo is we've got empty buses running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not true. And the transit department has all this information. They can show you with their rider data. So that's just fallacious.
Yes.
And they can tell you just how much buses are being run, what percent of being driven, what percent of the time. This is all known information. And this is part of what got me so upset about Rasovich's comments as well. He's asking, do we know what is sustainable? What's sustainable? Is it sustainable to bring a solar panel from China? These are all known. Yeah, exactly. Right? These questions have all been asked.
These are things.
Rasovich is not some genius who's poking the hole in the balloon of sustainability, and Bizzo isn't he isn't some mentat who's got his melange inspired awareness and is discovered the problem. Yes, exactly. Through all time.
To be fair, he might be thinking of Mad Tony, the rogue bus driver,
right?
Who actually stole a bus in the 80s and has never been caught. He just drives around and around.
Yeah,
24/7.
Yeah, maybe that's all he's seen.
I have an idea.
Sure.
A good way to stop burning diesel.
Yeah.
Get some electric buses. That'll cut that out.
What a great idea.
Diesel consumption down.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hey? Yeah. All these questions, they have answers. We know that buying solar panels, even if they're coming from China, and we talk about the entire cost of that solar panel from the day the silicon is pulled up out of the sand to the day the solar panel is put onto your house and starts to generate energy. We know the full costing of that.
Right.
Because the people who build solar panels knew they were going to get quizzed on that. So they've worked all that out, and we know that it is more sustainable and is ultimately lifetime of the thing cheaper to have a solar panel than it is to, say, get all of your energy from burning coal.
Yeah.
Because if you apply this same microscopic lens on coal burning or natural gas burning, oil and gas, as Brett Dolter suggested in his presentation about, the social cost of carbon, the externalities attached to that are not being attached to the price. And so these things are far more expensive than we think of them. We're on 91.2 FM, CJTR, AccessNow Community Radio. I'm Paul Duchesne with Aidan Morgan. And we're the Queen City Improvement Bureau. Anyways, we've got one more round of Can Council make Aidan's head explode.
All right.
And this one comes from Councillor Mancinelli. Now,
okay,
some more spoilers. This report on energy and sustainability passed. Up next after this was our climate strategy. And this was kind of how do we deal with climate change going forward. And it was this big report that, laid out how climate change is going to be bad. And it's going to be bad for cities. And we're going to be dealing with things like droughts and floods and nasty stuff. And what are things that we can do? Insulate homes and, flood preparation and yada, yada, yada. And also, try and reduce our emissions. So that strategy came forward. And Councillor Mancinelli brought an amendment to it.
Okay.
Even though it really should have been brought during the energy and sustainability framework. But he brought it during this later thing, which passed, by the way, the climate strategy.
Okay.
Here's Councillor Mancinelli.
Basically, I can start talking to it. We talked a little bit about concrete this morning, both for the emissions and the cost. It kind of took a point of interest. Looking at a strategy for climate adaptation and how we're going to try to control that strategy, I kind of wanted to put a little bit of a more concrete move forward. I wanted to ask administration what it would look like to reduce the amount of concrete we use in a year by 20%, and how that would affect the following components of our operations. Knowing that we have to balance not just the environment, but with our costs and the expectations of the public and service levels, and that we have to answer all those boxes each time we made a decision, I thought this was the right time to maybe come and address this question. Concrete is one of the most expensive things we buy in a year for all the repairs and maintenance we do. According to our expert this morning, it's one of the most concentrated emitters of GHG emissions. It's a big piece on our annual budget. How we plan our city and lay that concrete influences our parallel multimodal transportation network, which is part of this strategy and our adaptation plan. We fight hard every winter for our residents to be able to move through our streets because we lack adequate space to put our snow. And we don't have the money to pick all that snow up. So trying to find long-term solutions to mitigate our heavy snow years is important. And trying to look in that space for an existing city is almost impossible. These are hard challenges, so we have to come up with innovative solutions. We've had historical parking challenges forever because of the width and the accessibility of our streets. This has play on it as well. And because I paid attention to my council meetings, I know how expensive concrete is, and I know that climate mitigating strategies are expensive. So I also want to know at what type of savings we're looking at. And with that, if this could be looked upon as a forward funding source to help us achieve our results. And on top of that, accessibility is a big part of our city. I think there's one more bullet point. It might just be the page down. We have a winter city. It's hard to walk at the best of times, especially in the winter with the snow. And with the thousands and thousands of kilometers of street and sidewalk, we don't have the money to clear everything. If we started to replan where we put that concrete, the sidewalks had more room for snow storage, could we finally make Regina properly accessible in the winter for all? And I think that especially with the upcoming budget and the concentration on funds, I think this is a really important question. So I thought as part of a strategy moving forward, this would be applicable. So I move it forward to see if the rest of the council agrees.
All right. That motion came from Councillor Mancinelli. I'm going to actually read the motion itself as it ended up, because there were a few friendly amendments to it. Councillor Jason Mancinelli moved in amendment that City Council direct administration to report back by Q1 of 2026 on how a 20% reduction in poured concrete usage would affect the following: accessibility priorities and any multi-use pathways, annual GHG emissions, annual budget, ability to incorporate a parallel multimodal transportation network, usable space for winter maintenance operations, snow storage, historical parking challenges, traffic safety, and if savings are to be found, are they sufficient to incorporate a sidewalk snow clearing strategy? And this was passed unanimously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, that does feel like you go to like a party, like a beach party.
Yeah.
Somebody brings out a guitar and says, "I'm just going to noodle on something," but it turns out to be like, you know, it's my interpretation of Bach's Toccata and Fugue for the next hour. Yeah. So there's a lot there, is what I'm saying.
Except we know where this is coming from. November 9th, 2022, when Councillor Mancinelli was contemplating whether or not when we do road work, should we be restoring streets with two sidewalks, or should we be getting rid of one of those sidewalks?
Councillor Mancinelli.
Thank you. Appreciate the report. Kind of scared of the numbers that it dictates out of it. Being part of council for a few years now, I've come to realize, and you've taught me, that when doing road construction, I believe concrete is 10 times the cost of asphalt, if I remember. With that thought in mind, do we always renew these roads with like for like? With such examples as boulevards, concrete boulevards being placed on major roads. I noticed years back we got rid of the boulevards on Broad Street. We just did an Albert Street rebuild. We put beautiful boulevards back up, and I'm going to watch them get torn apart over the next 2 years doing winter cleanup and maintenance. Do we always build like for like, and is there any efficiency and cost savings we could accumulate by rethinking on how we do these things? Before I give up the mic, one other example, although not on this particular report, would also be within the residential neighborhoods. I note in new neighborhoods, many new neighborhoods are built without sidewalks, or sidewalks only on one side of the street. When we do our upgrades and our rebuilds in our interior city, We always replace both sides of the street with sidewalk on both sides. And then a month later, we talk about parking problems and cycling infrastructure problems and costs of rebuilding roads. At what point do we re-examine how we're investing in what we're building and see if we really have to build like for like, or if we can start to plan out for a more economical rebuild situation in the future?
Through you, Mayor Masters, defer to Mr. Warren.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Masters. Under these road programs, we typically do replace like for like. But obviously, as we look to the future, we work closely with our partners in sustainable infrastructure when it comes to the addition of bike lanes, active transportation requirements. Definitely, there are things that we can do to maximize the use of the space. There are also certain things that we have to keep in mind and consider. The example of the center medians is a great example. In some of these circumstances, the traffic medians are in place for traffic safety to ensure, for example, cars are turning left into oncoming traffic, depending on the number of lanes and things like that, access and egress points into businesses and commercial corridors. So these are some of the things that we consider. And where the impacts, where the traffic safety analysis is lower, then there's opportunities to have, for example, a painted center median as opposed to a concrete median. In other cases, the traffic safety risk sometimes is deemed too high or too substantial to implement that risk. In the case of Albert Street, there was rail requirements around the railway tracks to ensure that we're meeting the safety compliance with the railway regulations. So there are things that we definitely consider when we're renewing a corridor or location.
Do you know the worst thing about this city? When I moved here in 1989, the thing that made me, the first thing that made me go, is this a real city? Was that there are roads with only one sidewalk. Yeah. I'm like, I cannot walk on parts of this road. This is a hostile city, I thought. Yeah. So I get where he's coming from, but I firmly disagree on this. Yeah, okay, so he's right, and administration is also right, that concrete is really carbon intensive, the making of it. It is an environmental disaster, and it's a good reason why you shouldn't be building buildings with concrete if you can avoid it. Yeah. It is a terrible thing. But to get there, when we know, and this was mentioned multiple times during the course of this meeting, the idea of getting rid of sidewalks, or not building sidewalks, or building streets with just one sidewalk on one side. This seems to be where this is going, and this is definitely something that's being contemplated by Councillor Mancinelli, maybe by some people in administration and by other councillors, this idea that we don't need two sidewalks on both sides of the street. And I think it's noteworthy that Councillor Mancinelli seems to be, when he's talking about gaining space to store snow in the wintertime, he's imagining that we will get rid of sidewalks and gain road space. Right. So he's actually contemplating a loss of pedestrian, basically human land in this city. Exactly. And if I just want to say, I don't think Councillor Mancinelli it relishes the thought of people dying on the road, but the more you reduce space for people to walk around roads, the more you get people getting hit by cars. 100%. And I just think that this, but I mean, this city seems to want that. Some strange animistic force seems to want that blood sacrifice of pedestrian deaths, and gets very angry if you try to mitigate that. Yeah, because the blood god needs blood. Blood for the blood god. It's its thing. Yeah. It's like, don't give me this strawberry Kool-Aid. I want blood, says the blood god. Yeah. Anyway, I just think that having sidewalks on roads I think it's vital for people to actually be able to walk safely, to get to where they're going safely. Yeah. If they don't want to take their cars out for a ride everywhere they go. Yeah, and we've talked about this before, and this is why I was surprised that Councillor Turnbull voted for this. If you move into a neighborhood that has a sidewalk on only one side of the street, and you're on the side that doesn't have the sidewalk, and you're hale and healthy when you move into your house, but you age or have an incident and you can no longer walk easily and must use a mobility device,
device, you are now stranded in your house.
Yeah.
And you will have to like cross a street of some, quantifiable busyness before you can get to that sidewalk.
Yeah.
And this is what they're relegating us to.
And you need infrastructure to make that thing happen. You need like rules about speeds. To quote Councillor Rosevich, there's a cost to this.
Yeah, and also being considered here is getting rid of medians, so like divided streets, which again exist for safety and also to provide urban canopy from the trees that are on the medians. And I get that this was just an information report that he's asking for, but the number of information reports I've seen die in this city when they're asking for something like, should we look into maybe tying parking prices in Regina so that they're always higher than transit prices? We won't pass that because they know where councillors intuit the direction this is going, and they kill it. And there was also the attempt to kill an information report on getting rid of parking minimums, and that was killed for years before it was forced on us by the federal government to get rid of our parking minimums. When it's an idea like that about improving the city for pedestrians or cyclists or just people in general, council will not even entertain an info report. But when it is, could we maybe get some more road space for our cars? It's a unanimous vote.
Of course.
Yeah. And I also note that it is possible to build sidewalks without concrete. Concrete is chosen because it's incredibly hard and it has no give, which is good for walking. Yep. Also, if you run a broom over it, it has an incredibly high coefficient of friction. Ideal for walking. And it's also easy to clear because it is so flat and so hard, and it's easier to walk on in the winter. But you could consider things like asphalt sidewalks, and you can mix in wood fiber, apparently, and that can make for a good surface. I think a lot of people will find that unsightly, asphalt sidewalks. And there is also a carbon cost attached to using asphalt for sidewalks.
True.
And we could go to wood, but wood is really slippy when it gets wet.
What about like boardwalks?
Yeah, boardwalks would be great, but we'd be replacing them every third year.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, there's a cost to everything, as we say.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anything. I can't think of any decision that would be worse than getting rid of concrete sidewalks or reducing the amount of reducing the sidewalks on roads.
Hopefully, there will be enough. Like maybe they'll be able to find a way to reduce concrete consumption in the city without getting rid of our sidewalks. But I shudder to see what this report is going to look like. Yeah. Anyways, that was yesterday's executive committee meeting. Also considered was a report on whether or not we should buy diesel buses going forward instead of electric, because the program to pay for electric buses that the federal government was fronting, that has now ended. If we want to get buses, we need some kind of funding from a higher level of government, and electric buses are about twice the price of a diesel bus. Councillor Zakidniak moved that. She referred that report to a future council meeting, basically wanting to wait until after the federal budget and a few other opportunities to search for funding for electric buses are explored. And there was also a report on the city's encampment strategy. Basically, this report just reviewed what the current encampment strategy was, and Councillor Flores got that referred back to administration, asking them to come back at a later date with a new, improved, and more better encampment strategy that council could review.
Councillor Flores, leader of the bicycle tour gang.
Yeah.
Just out there with her mob of bikers.
We were waving at them from our basement window.
I was too afraid. I saw bikers and I'm like, oh no.
Oh.
They're going to take my freedoms or something. I don't know.
We should probably wrap this up because we are almost out of time.
True. Should I move to adjourn?
I would second that motion.
All right, then. Motion is carried. Meeting adjourned. You have been listening to the Queen City Improvement Bureau on 91.3 FM, CJTR, AccessNow Community Radio. Tune into your community. You can find us broadcast live 7 to 8 p.m. Thursday evenings and rebroadcast Monday afternoons 3 to 4 p.m. Your hosts are Paul Deschain and Aidan Morgan. Music by Guidewire, a.k.a. Ryan Hill, and occasionally Kimberly Fury. What else? You can find us on our website, queencib.com, as well as on Blue Sky. Both me, that's paulnode.com, and Paul Shen is City Hall. What's your Blue Sky address for City Hall stuff?
PD City Hall.
PD City Hall.
And that's also how you can find me on YouTube.
Very good. Yeah, we're all there. Okay, that's all. And coming up next, perhaps, I think we're going to get the record room. That's it. Keep on improving, Regina.